It took me nearly 10 years to get good at photography, and honestly, a lot of that time was wasted. Not because I wasn't trying, but because I was improving in the same way most photographers do. And it was the completely wrong approach. So in this video right here, my friend, I want to show you the one simple mindset that would have sped up my progress big time. So most photographers, they improve way slower than they need to. And it's not because they're untalented, and it's definitely not because they need better gear. You see, it's usually because they're trying to learn photography the wrong way. Now you might be sitting there wondering to yourself, what is this wrong approach, Mr. Icelandic guy? Well, it's that they're trying to learn everything at once. Composition, editing, color, lighting, camera angles, and just angles in general, settings and everything. This is a lot, bro, I know. And because all of this gets mixed together, nothing really sticks in the head.
Or at least if you have a thick Icelandic skull like me.
I mean, basically, you watch a bunch of tutorials, you learn a few new ideas, and you feel productive as hell, but your photos, they do not really change. And that's because knowledge is not the same as skill. Of course, knowing what you do is hella useful. Don't get me wrong here, of course. But it's not enough. I mean, the thing is, you can understand composition in theory and still take ugly ass photos. I've been there and done that. You can also watch editing tutorials for hours on end and still have no idea what the hell you're doing in Lightroom. And that's because photography does not improve just because you understand something once. It improves when you repeat a skill enough times that it becomes instinct. And that, my friend, is the part that I believe in the most. And if I'm allowed to be a little honest here, then that mindset did not come from photography for me. It came from powerlifting, which is something I did many years ago for many years. It was before having a bunch of kids and before these little extra dad kilos and, of course, losing a lot of the good kilos as well. I need to get back to that one time. But what I'm trying to get to here is that the one thing that strength training teaches you very quickly is this. You do not get strong by showing up to the gym once. You get strong by repeating the basics week after week, month after month, year after year, even when you don't feel like doing it. And that's why I think photography works exactly the same. You don't get better just because you watch one good tutorial, even if that's a tutorial from your favorite Icelandic friend, but you get better when you actually put into practice the thing that you learned in that tutorial. And even more specifically, you get better when you practice one skill enough times that your eyes start catching it automatically. That, my friend, is when things actually change. By the way, if you want to become a better photographer, then I sent out free weekly emails. They're short, fun, easy to read, and packed with value. If that sounds interesting to you, then there's a link down in the description and it's totally free. Now, one of many reasons I believe repetition is so important in photography is that I saw this really clearly back in 2017. You see, back then, I did a 365-day challenge on Instagram. As in, posting one photo a day for an entire year, really to push myself to take more photos and carry my camera with me every single day. And that challenge, which is honestly a really simple challenge, but far from easy, helped me more than almost anything else. And it's not because every photo I took was a good one and a total masterpiece. I mean, it was actually far from it. A lot of them were honestly kind of like garbage and sucky, But I was shooting every single day, looking for compositions every day, editing photos every day, and making mistakes every single day. And then coming back the next day, I do it all over again. So my friend, here's the framework I wished I'd followed earlier. I call it the repeat method. It's trademarked by yours truly, that Icelandic guy. And this is of course free to use for all of you who love photography as much as I do. Step number 1, pick one thing, and just one. A specific composition rule, a color theory that you really want to get better at, one focal length, editing, basically whatever really. Just pick the thing that you want to improve on the most right now. This matters because if you try to improve on everything at once, your attention, it gets split and nothing really gets enough reps. Step number 2, study it. Learn the principle, maybe watch a tutorial from your favorite sexy Icelandic guy, read up about it, look at examples and understand what good actually looks like. But my friend, keep this part fairly simple. The goal is not to disappear into a research for 15 hours or something like that. The goal is just to learn enough that you can practice with some sort of direction. Step number 3, practice only that thing. Now, this, my friend, is the most important part. And this is where a lot of people they make it too broad. So do not just say to yourself, I'm working on composition right now, because that still leaves you with too many things to think about. So instead, pick one specific principle inside whatever category that you want to work on. Think like composition, light, color, depth, and so on and so on. For example, if you want to improve your composition, do not try to practice all the composition rules at once. Pick one thing inside of it, maybe negative space, maybe symmetry, maybe framing, maybe subject placement, whatever really. Then you need to go out and intentionally look for that one thing. If you focus on negative space, look for cleaner frames, more separation, less clutter, and more room around the subject. If you focus on leading lines, then look for scenes that have natural lines in them and maybe even point towards the subject. And if your focus is framing, see, I'm doing it with my hand as well. But if you focus on framing, look for ways to use, for example, windows, doorways, branches, or the foreground elements to frame the subject. And then the same idea, of course, applies to color. Do not try to just master color in general. Pick one concept. Maybe it's complementary colors. Maybe it's warm versus cool contrast. And maybe it's keeping the whole image built around one dominant color. Then you get your ass out there and you train your eye for that one thing. Look for it, shoot for it, and then review your photos based on it. You get the idea, my friend, and this is key because you're not practicing photography in just a general sense. You're practicing one decision, one pattern, one principle on purpose, goddammit. You see, the goal here is to make your practice specific, not I'm just practicing photography, but I'm practicing this one thing. Master at it, you know? I'm getting emotional and worked up. But that's because this is how you stop shooting randomly and start building them real skills that will eventually get you fame and women. I don't know about that part though. It will definitely bleed your pockets out because you start to buy a ton of gear and all that stuff. Welcome to photography, my friend. Step number 4, repeat it until it feels natural. Not once, not twice, repeat it for days, weeks, months, even years if you're a total savage. Basically, just long enough so it stops feeling forced and long enough so you start seeing it faster. My friend, that's when information turns into instinct, until you're not overthinking it anymore. You just see it when you're out in the wild and you just know that it's gonna work. And it's just so beautiful when it clicks. You go like, oh, thank you, thank you. And you know, this shit, it matters a lot, especially in outdoor photography because moments, they move quickly. The light changes, people move, and the scene just changes, you know? Which means you don't often have time to stand there thinking through a whole checklist. And that's why this kind of practice is so important. By the way, if you're new or even just kind of new to photography and you want to learn in just 14 days what took me months, honestly even years to figure out, then check out the 14-Day Photographer. It's a beginner's photography course made to help you not just understand your camera, but actually start taking photos you feel proud of. And it's built in 2 parts. First, we go through the essentials, a short, easy to follow section that teaches you how your camera works, what the settings actually do, and the fundamentals of what makes photos work in the first place. Then, my friend, me and you, we go on a 14-day photography journey together. You get one simple lesson each day, plus one practical task to go out and shoot. So you're not just learning photography in theory, you're actually practicing it. Because that's how photography really clicks, you know? You learn faster when you're doing it. And honestly, this is the course I wish I had when I started. It would have saved me just stupid amount of time and frustration. So if that sounds like something you want, then there's a link down in the description down below. Step number 5, stack skills over time. So once one skill starts feeling automatic and you know it from the inside out, then it's time to move on to the next one. And that, my friend, is how improvement compounds. You see, as we've talked about in this video, you don't learn photography by learning everything at once. You build it skill by skill, one layer at a time. And this is exactly why I think so many photographers stay stuck. They're always learning something, but they're not always applying it. They know a lot, but they have not repeated one thing long enough for it to become truly theirs. And heck, it's not like you learn something once and then you know it forever and go like, okay, I never have to learn that thing again. Pew! I mean, I often go back to the basics that I already know pretty damn well. For example, last year I took 4 whole weeks to just focus on the good old rule of thirds. the good old, And the thing is, when I do this, I always learn something new. Even if I already know it, I always find something new about it, and it becomes I get better at it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just so fun. So my friend, if there's one thing I just wish I understood earlier, it's this. Knowledge, it shows you what to do, and then repetitions, it makes you able to do it. This is what turns information into instinct, and this is what actually makes you better. So my friend, and I know I say a lot of friend, that is just my little quirk, but we're friends, right? Anyway, here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, pick one thing. Again, just one. It can be composition, color, focal length, whatever really. Just make sure that you study it a little and then practice that one thing every day for a whole week. However, there's still one big problem. This whole idea gets much harder if you still believe that you need interesting places to take epic photos, because then you'd run out of excuses and practice, it dies immediately. So before you do anything else, then watch this video right here on how to take great photos in boring locations. Because honestly, if you can't make ordinary places work, none of this repetition stuff is gonna help you as much as it should.